Alright. What an interesting adventure today has been. So, let me set the stage for this particular review. Just so you can kind of get an idea of my state of mind right now. Last week... was it last week? Yeah, it was last week. Grant, after our chef review, goes, hey, I have an idea.
Chef / Million Ways to Die in the West.
Either way, I'll take that one came second, so I'm counting that as the last one. Either way, says, hey, you know what? There's a movie called Cold in July that's out now. We should go check it out. And I say, sure, why not? And that same night, on the way home, some jackass decided to chuck, I can only assume it was a softball out their window, and left this big fucking crack right in the middle of my windshield. Now, that's not the reason I'm pissed off now, because that was last week. The reason I'm pissed off is like, hey, someone check it out tonight? Grant texts me this morning, or this afternoon. I say, okay, what time? 7:20 work? Sure! So I get in my car, everything's fine. And I get to the turn, and I turn a little too sharply and hit the fucking curb right off the freeway. And boom goes my front right left side tire. And so now I gotta spend like the last 30 minutes right before the movie starts quickly changing this tire, which I managed to do in 15 minutes. I'm strangely proud of that. And just to go see this movie that I didn't even like. So there's my story. I'm a little grumpy. I'm smiling now because either that or I'm gonna either cry or I'm gonna kill someone, preferably within arm's reach. So let's keep that in mind while we're doing this, and this might go in my court case. So, Cold in July. I didn't like it.
I enjoyed it more. It's not perfect, but I at least wasn't disappointed.
I had no idea what this movie was even fucking about. I had no clue. I knew the title and that was it.
I read a brief synopsis and saw some reviews, and
what did the reviews say?
They said it was overall very solid movie. Just
really?
Yeah, they said it was good, good, tense. Michael C. Hall did a good performance and kind of anchored everything.
Did we see the same movie as they did? Because I didn't get, well, except for Michael C. Hall. But,
admittedly, though, it's,
the pacing is crap. There's no establishment at all. I didn't get why I was supposed to care about any of the characters. It works as a good 80s homage. I'll give it that much. But even then, it's like, yeah, I just didn't really care. Is kind of what it comes down to. Because it starts out, okay, so the movie's about, what the movie starts to be about is right off the bat, Michael C. Hall, I forget his character's name.
I can't remember.
It's Dane or Dale or something like that? Dane. Either way, I'm just gonna call him Dexter. So, Dexter hears something in the house, turns out it's a burglar, he freaks out, accidentally shoots him, he's dead. Okay, so you think this would be a drama about him trying to deal with, trying to... Keep in mind, I knew nothing about this movie going into it, so I'm trying to kind of figure out as I go along. It seemed like at first it was going to be a drama about how someone deals with accidentally killing someone you didn't know.
Based on what I read, I knew it was not going to be that. I expected it was going to be more of a cat and mouse game, not unlike Eastern Promises. Not Eastern Promises, A History of Violence.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the way that everything made it out.
That movie was actually really good. I love it. History of Violence is a great movie.
Yeah.
But even then, it did it much better than this. And so it's like, okay.
I agree.
And maybe it was about that. It's like, okay. I don't know how they can stretch this out to an hour and a half, but okay, I'll go along with it. But nope. Then all of a sudden we get the guy he shot's dad who comes back in the picture. Now he wants revenge. Okay, so now it's a thriller. It's going to be a thriller for this movie, right? That's going to be how it's going to go down now, right?
Yeah.
No! He gets arrested 20 minutes later.
And
then it's
Cape Fear, that was the movie I was thinking of. I thought it was going to be like that.
Yeah, but either way, so it's like, he gets arrested, and it's like, well, now where the hell you're gonna go? Because they're starting to write themselves into a corner. And that was kind of the problem. It's like, it felt like the writers were desperately trying to come up with more plot to fit their stuff. But, oh, wait. On a random chance, he happens to find a wanted poster of the man he supposedly killed. It's like, wait a minute, that's not the guy I shot. I am for no reason going to obsess about this. And so he follows out. By the way, the cops are shit at detecting tails.
Yeah. Okay, in all fairness, I will say this. 1, car was in the dark. It's kind of hard to make things out. 2, they were busy dealing with a guy who was struggling, and they were trying to shove him into a car regardless.
But the guy was right there in the car, literally, just staring at them.
Yeah, he did this.
Yeah, because that is so the ultimate stealth method.
You'd be surprised how often that works, actually. Not with tails, but just people in general when you're trying to hide.
How would you know?
Because I like to screw around with people sometimes.
So, I guess we got Cape Fear happening in the car right now. Okay, he just locked the car doors and started laughing. I'm legitimately pretty scared.
Suddenly this movie seems a lot more realistic, doesn't it?
I guess we're gonna make our own snuff film tonight.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah, we're gonna get... That's
Not
another...
reality.
Bye. This took a dark turn very fast, just like this movie. I think our review is actually reflecting the movie. That's kind of weird. Anyway.
Suddenly the movie makes sense.
My God, it was a prophecy. Anyway, so Dad gets arrested. He follows the chef, not the chef,
Sheriff.
sheriff,
who basically told him to begin with that he killed a certain person and that you're just crazy.
Yep, and so he sees that he's taking the father out to a car and driving him out somewhere. It's like, okay, I'm gonna follow him for some reason. And so he follows him out to a train track. And this is the part where I kind of started laughing a little bit to myself, because all I could think of is a like a guy twirling his mustache as he because it literally just leaves him on the train track and like pours alcohol, and so it looks like it was a drunk accident. But all I could think of is he had the cowboy hat and everything. He had the mustache. I was waiting for like the oh no, save me. So guess
that guy was drugged up, so he was like
still though, tell me that's not hard. You're never gonna be able to watch that scene and not see that now. Because I was literally, as we're watching the scene,
oh look, here comes Dudley Do-Right.
Pretty much. Like, you probably weren't paying attention, but as that part was playing, I was kind of doing like this.
No, I didn't see it.
I was just kind of dicking around. I kind of wish Wes was there, because he has that great handlebar mustache. You know, we might actually we'll make an excuse, and we'll write that scene at some point for a review. I'll talk to you about that after this. But anyway, so... Then Michael C. Hall, granted that was like a legitimately good moral dilemma, whether you let the person who has made a point to assault and terrify your family die or not. Yeah. But it's only for a few seconds. Michael C. Hall saves him, and then it becomes a conspiracy movie. Now we're in a fucking conspiracy movie. And then it turns into, and then he meets up with another cop from Houston, and this is all in Texas, 1989, by the way.
Basically, I think this guy, I can't remember if he was actual police or private investigator.
I think it was like FBI or something.
Yeah, because I saw like police investigator, I think.
Either way, he comes in this incredibly over-the-top vehicle.
And that was pretty funny.
Even then, it felt so out of place, though.
Oh, in all fairness, that kind of describes the character, like, the entire time. It's like, he was a very ostentatious, a very kind of...
But I was just thinking the entire time, it's like, my God, pick a tone.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want this movie to be? And it's so all over the place. And because then the next act turns into, we're supposed to care about the dad now, even though he like tried to kill a family like 5 minutes ago, because apparently his son got away with got in trouble with the mafia and got put in the witness protection program. So they go track him down, but turns out he's a monster too. So then it becomes an action movie as they plan on how they're going to vigilante murder him.
Yeah.
And that's the last act of the movie. At that point, there was no reason for Michael C. Hall to be there.
I kind of see why. It's like it's not necessarily a good reason, but I see this guy, like, he kind of saw what the hell was going on. I think it's more like that whole couldn't idly stand by kind of thing. He saw...
Even that didn't make any sense for him to go to Houston with them anyway.
Yeah.
Like, at all.
Admittedly, it was the first time they did that. I was like, wait, yeah, why are you going? Then, of course, there's the whole... I need to know who I killed, which...
Like, she never finds out anyway.
Yeah. Now, it's one of those things where it's like... A rule of film is you can leave one major thing unexplained, and...
No, you can't. At least not like that big plot hole. There's a few of those that I was like, wait a minute.
At the point, it's like, regardless, the guy was an invader, so it's like, it's not like he...
Yeah, exactly. So it's like...
I think he just...
Like, I didn't understand why he started questioning who killed anyway. It's like, he was clearly an invader. Clearly not a good guy anyway. Why are you obsessing about this? Like, that didn't make any sense to me either. Problem is, like, I'm
not sure. I think it was just that whole it would kind of bug you too if like you did something that like you're not sure everything about.
Still though,
And,
I mean,
like,
there are
'cause-
limits.
But we should probably explain why this happened, or like why it was covered up. Because apparently the son, who was a monster, who
It actually makes snuff films, literally, like actors. Yeah. Like pictures, videos of him murdering women.
with some other guy, it's just like,
Just owns a castle right the hell out of nowhere.
yeah. Oh, that was the other thing that bugged me though. Was wait, why didn't they just meet up there to begin with instead of going to the house?
Yeah, I thought that same question. That and the other question I had was, it turns out like they have a video, the evil guy has a video store that he uses as a cover basically, and he goes over there and he makes a point. It's like, okay, when do you close? And then they wait outside the video store for it to close, and then they just go drive to his house and wait for him there. Why the hell didn't they just wait at the house?
I assume they were gonna follow him just to see wherever he stops first.
But they don't. They just go straight back to his house.
No, it's assumed that they followed him because
No, because they beat him there. They
all right.
They're just waiting outside his house, waiting for him to come back. So why'd they go to the video store at all if they're just gonna wait outside his house?
I don't know.
And then of course the question of why didn't they just go back straight to the castle place?
Yeah.
And then there's
Oh yeah, there's that. Like,
there's a lot of other like little things that just don't make any sense, and they kind of add up on each other to the point it just becomes kind of annoying. Like, why the hell Michael C. Hall's character go through all this trouble? Here's my problem with this movie: is I don't know any of these characters really at all. Like, it doesn't take any time to establish who these characters are. It jumps right into the drama. No, like, oh, this is him and his family. I mean, I get annoyed when they do those. The perfect family gets caught in the struggle cliche. That annoys me. But at the same time, you gotta establish something for me to give a shit. But it doesn't. It literally jumps right into the drama.
Yeah.
And I'm expected to care.
It was more like they were kind of revealing things like over time. Like I caught these little things that were kind of obviously meant to
Yeah,
explain
but at the same time, I feel like I need to establish something for me to care about his drama, like care how it affects him.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's like I don't see a reason why I should. And the same goes for the dad, and the same goes for the other cop, even though that's not really a point of his character, so I'm willing to give him a break.
Yeah, plus let's face it, he did have one of the best moments in that movie.
Which one was that?
Yeah. How can you not see my Pinto? You're gonna pay for this! Huge guy.
Like John.
I've always split the bill.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, that was good.
And they just proceed to beat the crap out of each other in like the most hilarious way.
That was funny. I'll give it that. It felt like it felt so inconsistent in pacing and in tone and in fucking genre. Like it just did not know what it wanted to be.
For me, admittedly, like I was okay with the genre shifts because I felt like they unveiled things in a way that like I was still able to kind of like stay interested like in the mystery, even if it kind of deflated there in the end.
Like I'll give it this: I didn't know what was going to happen next, but that's because it didn't really establish much to begin with. Like there's a point in the movie, like after they realize there's a conspiracy going on because they dig up the grave and find out, oh, it's not actually my son.
Yeah, because the guy got his teeth pulled out and his fingers cut off.
Yeah, and then they're sitting at a diner, and the guy just goes, "What do we do now?" And I'm like, that's a very good question. And like, you're kind of stretching this out, guys. I mean, like, it felt like a lot of it was stalling, trying to figure out where the hell it'll take the plot, because it was kind of clear that there wasn't enough there to fill one movie, or like half a movie, let alone an hour and a half one.
Yeah. I think the movie was more like about 2 hours though, wasn't it?
Was it 2 hours?
Or like an hour 40?
It was a little. I think it was around the hour and a half mark because I got there around 7:25, I think, and we started like 5 minutes later. So it was about like an hour 40 maybe. Yeah, pretty short movie. But even then, I feel like a lot of it felt like padding. It kind of comes down to finding weak excuses for characters to be in places and just I just felt like I couldn't get the characters' more motivation because I didn't know the character. And that shit bugs me.
Yeah.
This guy is still looking for day passes.
Yeah.
That's a long story. Anyway, but I don't know. That's just what it comes down to for me. I don't know if it bugged you as much.
Well, like I said, there were a couple things that did bug me. It's like, for me, I was able to get into the kind of get into like the... I was able to kind of get, I was able to stay hooked with the story just because like the way, it kind of like kept changing things up. But admittedly, I will agree, like... There were some inconsistencies. It felt like they just kind of left things by, like... Despite the fact that the sheriff tried to kill somebody, which I assume was to kind of keep the cover up.
But, yeah, that was another question I had. No. Why'd they have to kill him? Why couldn't they just lock him up?
The way I saw it was... I'm not sure. They want, because basically they're trying. I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense either.
Closest thing I could think of was they're trying to. They wanted to kill him basically because, like, on the off chance, like, he could somehow identify the body.
But the body was buried. Why would it matter?
You'd be surprised what some people.
But he was gonna go to jail. What could he have possibly done at that point?
I don't know. Probably could have, like, find a way. I don't know. Because admittedly, he was also in a local place. He could have tried to break out. But admittedly, it's like, yeah, it's one thing you're like, that's the best idea I could come up with. And I will agree. It's like, it wasn't fully fleshed out.
There's a lot of that. And there's another. This one's a nitpick, but it bugged me because it led to an ending that really kind of made me mad.
Yeah.
Was the point where, at first time he goes to Houston, he gives, like, his wife, and there's a whole scene dedicated to giving his wife and son a legitimate excuse why he has to leave. But then, at the random point, he comes back, and he decides to leave again.
Yeah.
And he never explains why to his family. So when he goes back with a bullet here, half an ear missing, and just overall bloodied and dirty and all that crap, what does his wife do? Oh, she just rolls over and puts her head on his chest in bed, and that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, really, you're not going to ask any questions where he's been the past couple days?
We're just
no.
Well, it's one of
explanation.
For me, it was like, it's one of the points. Like, what was the point? Like, if everything was done.
Yeah, like there's a few points like why is it still still here?
What would be the point of showing her, like, flipping out if
just give me some kind of reaction. That's all I want. Like, again, the alternate ending that I would have done is what I explained to you in the car or on the way to the car, where just if she just got up, looked at him, saw the bandage clearly on the ear facing her, and said, "What the fuck?" just cut right there. Just cut to black.
Yeah.
That would have made me so happy because they would have addressed it at the very least. I should be a director. No, I wouldn't. My movies would be terrible.
Yeah.
I can make crap movies that other jackasses in their car can make fun of. But I don't know. It's just one of those things. There's just too many plot holes, too many things, too many unanswered questions, too many just things that just don't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's tonally inconsistent. It's just crappy pacing.
Tonally, I wouldn't say it was tonally inconsistent. It was just genre-wise, it was inconsistent. Because, like, generally, it kept the same tone, save for the
crazy cowboy and the crazy car person. But
yeah, which, of course, admittedly, despite him being kind of crazy, like, he stayed consistent for the most part throughout. Like, he was basically just meant to be the comic relief.
And even then, I kind of questioned why everyone was just perfectly okay with letting the dad kill his son.
Admittedly, they watched him kill, was it underage women that were brought over the border?
Something like that. I mean, I understand why, but I think at least one person to go, hey, maybe we shouldn't do this, or better yet, why not just tip off the mafia he's running from to begin with?
Because then they're going to know that he knows stuff, then they're going to go after them.
It could be an anonymous tip. They didn't have caller ID back then.
Admittedly, they don't exactly have the mafia's number.
Point still.
Yeah.
So there are other ways.
Yeah, but still, it's one of those. I'm not sure. It's one of those things where, like, kind of like as the dad said, it's like dealing with a mad dog. It's like, what do you do? Do you chain it up or put it down? And they're saying, like, it seemed like that would be the most humane way to do it because I'm not sure. It's like, it was kind of an interesting analogy. Like, I wouldn't necessarily agree with it, but I understand what the point he was getting at.
Maybe, I don't know. For me, I was like, I thought there was at least a little bit more protest.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. In all fairness, once you see a guy kill someone, there tends to be not much of a reason to protest.
I don't know, I've seen enough protests over death penalty, but that's not something I'm gonna begin to get into.
Yeah, that's a dip.
Not touching that with a 50-foot pole or 50-foot lightning penis sword. Either way. Sorry, it's obligatory at this point. Have to insert that joke in. No pun intended. Anyway. I mean, like, let's take a look at, like, movies we both love. Like The Hunt or 12 Years a Slave. They really made a point of establishing their characters before the drama started.
Yeah.
And of course, it kept a good pace. It made sure it kept one consistent story.
Yeah.
It didn't try to genre jump over and over and over again. It kept it consistent. It knew what it was going to be, and it made a point of establishing characters before the shit hit the fan. That's why they were good movies. This movie does not do that. It just goes drama, character, afterwards. It's like basically shoot first, ask questions later kind of thing. Literally, actually. But
in all fairness, that also it's kind of interesting though, because that feels like that was also the general, idea of, like, or kind of things that happened within the movie itself.
I don't know, but is that really what the movie was going
No,
for?
right
Like,
now it's probably
like,
just a coincidence.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if that really was the point, they didn't establish it very well.
Yeah. But yeah, like I will say, like, it is kind of understandable, like YBF said, like, I'm okay with the after the fact development, like, although I will say it's like it was because I was interested in the character, I was interested in the story more than the characters, and the characters just kind of came afterwards.
See, I'm pretty much entirely a character person. Like, if I don't like your characters, I'm not gonna like your movie. That's that's pretty much what it comes down to. That's why I didn't like Chef. But
yeah,
but it's the same kind of thing. Like, I emphasize characters over story. I guess maybe you're the other way around.
it depends on the situation.
Fair
like
enough.
one of the things, like this is something we kind of discussed in screenwriting. It's like, which one do you prioritize? Is like, is there ever a right answer? Not really. It's just a matter of finding which one does it well. Mm-hmm. And as long as it does that, then.
See, I'm kind of much where I think the characters come first, and then the story pretty much because like if you know your characters well, the story is basically just what they do in certain situations. That's pretty much what a story is, at least in my opinion. I mean, you're the one that took the class, so I don't know. But
and like I said, as I said, for me, it depends on the situation. Like, I prefer characters, but as I said, if the story, interests me enough as well, and like I said, if they're able to find something to kind of keep characters interesting, I'm okay with it, because although I'm trying to think of like some good examples. Like, they're kind of hard to come by.
What, like story beats character?
Yeah.
Inception?
I'd say that, yeah, because like outside of the main guy, it's like they give each person distinctive personalities, but they don't necessarily.
But they're
mostly
just exposition fairies.
Yeah.
Throughout the movie. Everyone in that movie is an exposition fairy. Looking back at it now, but.
Like, yeah, kind of like that. I'd say that's a pretty decent example.
Yeah, so, I mean, I liked Inception, but I haven't watched it in a long time either.
Yeah.
So, maybe it's because it was kind of a one-trick pony. Like, kind of looking back at it now. I thought it was brilliant when it first came out. Now I'm looking back at it now, it's like, okay, yeah, it was a little really convoluted. But,
I never found it convoluted.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it takes you like 3 times to fully understand what the hell's going on.
I'd say that, for the most part, though, it's like...
Well, aren't you just a golden pony? Show pony.
More silver.
Humility. We're not even talking about the movie anymore.
Yeah, but
Does this even take place in July? Why is it called in July? Watch, this is take place in August.
there are a couple things though I think we did kind of agree with though, was like the stylistically though it definitely fit the 80s motif, like in terms
like right down the mullet and the mustache and the
like,
dun 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 dun.
Yeah, like music. I love the music, cinematography, like even the subtle thing, just like the frame, like it was hard to describe, like the way you notice like in the frame rate and the motion blur, like it was very reminiscent of like some of those B movies or like those B thrillers. Like it was such a subtle effect, but I loved it. Just like in terms of like just how reminiscent it was.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I guess I was too annoyed. Like, why would you grab a tire iron if you have a home invader?
Better than using your fists.
True. I mean, that's if you got to work with what you got to work with. But at the same time, I think call the police would be priority. But call the police, stay the hell out, have them search the house.
Yeah,
that would have ended the movie even faster.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also that idea, like you want to make sure that that guy was in there and he could take care of it before he got away. There's that kind of idea.
Yeah, there's that.
Because keep in mind, he is a guy that, like, utmost is protective of his family.
I'm just saying, though, it looked like a cross, so you could easily just freak him out and start going, the power of Christ compels you, all the way out on the halls.
Yeah. That was the other interesting thing that I kind of noticed, though, between, like, what was the guy's name? Ed? There was Dane and... It was Ed or Bob? No, Bob was the cowboy guy. But, Michael C. Hall and the other, like, father character is, like, they were a contrast in terms of, like, the kind of father figures they were.
Even then, like, a thing that I would argue is not explored very much. It's too busy jumping to the next story point without any real... There's not many real moments of character development.
Well, for me, it was kind of interesting just seeing, like, how this guy was, like, on the one hand, he was willing to kill for his son, but at the same time, like, realizing what he had become, he was willing to kill him. Like, it was kind of...
I get what you're saying, and I will agree those things are there.
Yeah.
And if that was all the movie was about, it would have been more interesting.
Yeah.
Because, like, if it was all just the entire movie was just about how he deals with, like, killing someone you don't even know, I would have found them more interesting. because that's something that's actually not talked about very often in movies. I thought it was like, okay, this could actually be like an interesting drama, but no, that's not the focus. And I was disappointed. I was like, oh, really? We're going the thriller territory? Okay. Thriller? No.
Yeah, but even then, it's like I kind of enjoy like these subtle, kind of like these subtle moments of contemplation for the father. Like even though, like you could see the gears ticking in his head.
I credit that more to Michael C. Hall than I do the director.
No, I'm not talking about Michael C. Hall. I'm talking about the other guy.
Oh, I'll give credit. He made the best with what he had, but I'm not convinced what he had was great material. But maybe the original draft was much better. I don't know. But who made this anyway? Was this?
I think it's not a major director. I know that much.
So looks like an 80 movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I think I've made my point. Do you have any other points you want to make?
Like I said, stylistically, it's definitely very reminiscent of an 80s movie. Even kind of like the story itself feels like a hodgepodge for better or worse. And I think the deciding factor here is definitely whether or not you're willing to go with the genre changes within the story.
Yeah.
Because like if you're able to get past that, then I'd say it's going to be a much more enjoyable and kind of interesting experience. If not, kind of like that was your main hurdle. Like if you need something kind of consistent, if you need the characters to be in, you need to get into the characters first before the story does, then that's going to be your other problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Actually, I think that's about it.
Okay. I think I made my point this far, so I'm not gonna bother repeating it.
Yeah.
We didn't really have much in the way of trailers. I'm not sure it's really worth talking about. We had Jersey Boys. Have you gotten that one before?
Yeah. It was interesting seeing. What was it the Rover?
The Rover, yeah, the one where Guy Pearce looks like Joel from Last of Us.
Like I can't help but feel like that was like it's a sequel to another movie that came out called Animal Kingdom. Because I'm assuming
I mean, the trailer didn't give away too much. There's not really much you can say about what the story or anything's about. I know it has Robert Pattinson, which already raises the red flag. Guy Pearce I have no real problems with. So,
give Robert Pattinson the right material, which is very rare, but it's happened. Like I blame the crap material that he's involved in more than him, because even he'll admit when like something he's in is terrible.
The one connection we'll give him with Harry Potter in the Twilight series is he still plays a great corpse. You see what I did there? Thank you. I'll be here all week, but I'm much. Anyway, I don't know. It looks interesting. It could be interesting.
And what was the...
We got a car commercial after that.
Really? There were only 2 trailers?
Yeah, there's only 2 trailers. After that was a really long car commercial. That's
that one that we keep getting.
That's when you went left to get sodas.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So, trust me, I remember. I was exhausted, but I remembered.
Yeah.
Because I had to change a tire and then run to the theater.
Yeah. I'm also thinking that had you not dealt with that probably would have made this movie a bit more enjoyable.
Maybe. Maybe. I still think that my complaints would have remained the same.
No, your complaints are valid. I'm just saying, like, it probably would have been a little bit more enjoyable.
Maybe I'd be a little less grumpy. I think would be a fair
estimation.
Is the truth.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
So we go back later this week with The Edge of Tomorrow, which is the one I want to see, and then The Fault in Our Stars, which is the one I don't want to see.
I've been hearing good things about that, but at the same time, that seems like something that I would not.
I'm sorry. I know what's going to happen right now, because I've seen the trailers. There's a 90% chance I'm not going to like it, because I keep hearing this. I've talked to people about it. I hear the book is good. The trailer, on the other hand, makes it look like The Perks of Being a Wallflower without the good directing. Yeah. Because you got that smarmy, pixie perfect boyfriend guy just says a bunch of pretentious teenage one-liner bullshit.
By the way, how much you want to bet that he's going to be the one that dies at the end?
I don't know. Apparently, I keep seeing people like,
yeah, no, la 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 la.
I don't care. Like, it's one of those things. I know it's going to happen. Like, I've heard the trailers. Like, I had actually a long discussion with a friend of mine last night who says, like, no, but the book deals with this and this and this. Like, do you honestly think the movie is going to touch all those real issues? No, it's going to focus on the romance. It's going to build it up, and then you have the third act where she's going to have a dramatic fallout of some kind. She may or may not die. I don't know. Yeah. And that's going to be in the movie, and it's basically going to be the next Notebook based on the internet response I've seen so far. And I know I'm going to hate it, and I'm going to get ostracized for it.
By the way, in terms of Edge tomorrow, I've already seen it, but Michael is not. But we're gonna just meet up afterwards. So
Okay, is that what we're doing?
Probably.
All right.
Whenever you see it, I mean.
I'm good. In that case, I might as well just go see it tomorrow night. But yeah.
Yeah.
Final thoughts?
As I said, stylistically good. Story may or may not be kind of good, but I think we're both in agreement. There are quite a few plot holes that are going to bug you throughout.
I gotta go fix my car. Tear. Fuck everything. That's my final thought. Yeah. If Tywin dies in Game of Thrones, I'm just gonna fucking lose it. Or Tyrion, the dwarf guy, Peter Dinklage.
I won't say anything because I really don't know.
Yeah, that's gonna be the final straw if that happens. So.
Oh, dude, everyone's gonna riot. It's just gonna be like if
Dale dies in Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen that meme too.
Yeah.
So.
And for a while, we all thought he literally died because some jackass posted a fake article about how he got killed in a car crash.
That's just mean.
Yeah, that's evil.
Anyway, I think we're done. So,
yeah.
See y'all when I see you.